You know who else is ready?
Me. 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to the Thursdays Are the Best Days podcast, episode 230?
1.
1. And joining me this week, we got Bruno and we got Cider. Ow. Ow. You want it up here. You want it up here, okay? I didn't ask you to be up here. You want it up here. This is all you.
And this is why you should watch the video.
It's Cider. Mango doesn't let me hold him like this. So, it's been a week, Bruno. I mean, basically, I don't even know you anymore. It's been, well, yeah, an extra week. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, thematically, yeah, Actually, it is. We're back because I went on a cruise, and to preference the cruise, one of the best vacations ever.
Have you been on a cruise before?
Never.
Okay, so this was first cruise.
First cruise. And Madeline's first cruise, which is like slightly relevant and relevantly irrelevant. So a lot of stuff to talk about that. But before we get into that, you have 3 topics. Pick one of them. You can start.
I mean, they're all kind of related. So,
what? Are you going to a wedding in Switzerland for your mother's sister's grandson?
Something like that.
Damn.
No. So, my cousin got married this Friday, like this previous Friday.
So you were gone?
I was gone. So, a close cousin, like my aunt that lives next to me, her daughter.
Yep.
So I was always close with them. And she's my age, plus 4 days.
Oh.
So, like,
creepy.
Very close cousin.
Yes.
The wedding was good.
No, it's good as mine, but whatever.
No, it wasn't. Like, in all honesty, it wasn't.
Fine, it's true.
The tech person inside of me wanted to scream at their audio people because I could have done better. Like, they could have set the shit up for me, and I could have turned knobs better than they could have.
Damn.
And it's just like, God, it pains me. But other than that, and the fact that I think they had 50 too many people at the venue, it was a good wedding.
Oh. I mean, I honestly act like I'm incompetent. Out of my job with IT, if people say, "Oh, this isn't working," I just act like I couldn't help them, even if I wanted to. I show no like remorse nor disregard. Like, "Oh, this isn't working." I'm like, "Yeah, that sucks." And I'm like, sometimes it's like, "You want to help?"
I might need to follow that guideline more strictly.
Just don't.
I mean, I didn't help a shit, but like it
no,
just
but
hurt.
like, it's everything. It's not even just like I don't help.
So one of the people there was Philip.
Who the fuck is Philip?
Philip is a relative from Switzerland.
What?
Okay. So I realized that I got another guy. If you ever need a Swiss banker, let me know.
Is he a legit Swiss banker?
Yes. I got that guy on lock. And Philip has traveled to the States for like most of my cousin's weddings. So I see him like once every like 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Philip is my grandmother's sister's grandson.
I'm lost already. What?
Exactly. It's like distant cousin, basically. Or something like that.
Your mom's sister, which I'm assuming is older.
My grandmother's. That was just for me to remember. That's in relation to my dad.
Grandmother has a sister.
Yes.
Which would be your great aunt.
Yes.
Your
But then
great
go to
aunt,
grandson from that.
what would be your great aunt? That would be your mom's cousin, the mother of that. So that's your first cousin. So he's like your
Second
third
cousin.
cousin. No, because it's through you, so you have to add a cousin.
I asked Google what is my great aunt's grandchild to me.
Yeah, to you, but what to you would be, I still think, I don't know. I still think it's third cousin.
Either way, cousin.
I think second cousin removed. I think that adds one. I think that's, yeah,
Okay, maybe. Either way, cousin. Philip.
cousin. Cousin Philip, Swiss banker that lives in
Yep.
Switzerland.
Yes.
Open bar?
Yeah. Pretty shitty
A,
open bar, but open.
a pre-selected amount of alcohol that
Like,
was technically open.
exactly. Like you it was open, but there was no gin. Like if you wanted a gin and tonic, you could not get one. Just no.
Damn.
Like it wasn't
I'm
even
so
like
fucking.
bottom shelf open bar. It was just
I am gonna rip up fucking Fredo's wedding because I felt like I threw an amazing wedding that
you
I didn't get to enjoy. I mean, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, but
I know what you mean.
I more had to like I was more part of the like wedding.
You put on the wedding. You weren't
I was
in,
more of the
you know,
process of the wedding, not an enjoyer of a consumer of the wedding because I was a creator of the wedding.
yeah.
Like a content creator might play a game and enjoy it, but they don't have the satisfaction of watching someone play a game and provide good commentary because they're the
Yes.
creators of it. The whole tortured artist esque thing. Um, but I'm gonna fucking rip up Fredo's wedding because it'll be like, for beer here, please. Yes. Okay.
Let me tell you,
Good
we
story.
drank a lot at your wedding.
Yeah.
Our table put in work on that bar.
Oh, you want to hear about drinking a lot? Oh my God. We're transitioning to the big topic. This is like the rest
Have
of the
it.
goddamn podcast. So, the
Cruise.
cruise,
Can you tell me what line it was? Like, what was
Norwegian
the
cruise line.
Norwegian? Okay.
Um, no reason we picked them other than the fact that we really liked their drink package and some of the they had a couple good offers post COVID just to get people back cruising. Um, definitely not like the most like definitely not the cheapest, but definitely not the most expensive. I think it falls in a good category. When I see like celebrity cruises, we looked at them. Ridiculous. Disney cruise lines, asinine. Literally we there was a Disney cruise as we departed and came and we had a one stop where the Disney cruise came. Those people must have fucking paid like billions of dollars. Yeah,
Oh,
that one,
sure.
Norwegian. Eight
Yeah.
best in Caribbean.
I just
Whatever.
wanted to bring up a list to see some names so I remember, like, what names I recognize.
Okay. Oh, well, that's already getting me into the one topic. You're shooting me into the one thing.
I didn't mean
So
to.
no, Madeline and I's first cruise, whatever. You know, one of the friendliest like environments I've ever been in. Like you lock a bunch of people up with all free alcohol. Most of them are disconnected from the world with no like ability to like you get like 150 free minutes of Wi-Fi, but after that you have to pay a lot. Most people just wouldn't, so they just wouldn't have Wi-Fi. So it was like a ton of people were disconnected from the world entirely with free alcohol.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so just like
it's like a surprising disconnection.
it, it, it felt like what it must have felt like to live in like the 90s.
Also, by the way, I have never been on a cruise.
Okay,
So, for
no
you
frame of
and the
reference.
listeners, I don't know anything.
Gotcha. So super friendly people. Madeline and I were talking to a lot of people, a lot of old people.
You're talking like random people, not cruise workers.
No, cruise workers were all like I don't know what they're. I don't know, all Philippine.
Yeah,
They're,
sure.
they're all most of them for the Philippines. I had authentic Japanese cuisine made by my Filipino chef. He's like, I am a authentic Japanese chef from the Philippines was his like line. Um, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
He was
was
a
the food
yeah.
good?
Oh well, special dining was awesome. The non-specialty dining was still good, but a step down from specialty dining. Like it,
Sure.
but it was still like good. And even the buffet was like I was never unsatisfied with the buffet. Except breakfast because I think all buffet style breakfast is bad because most breakfast food is like designed to be made to order, not to sit.
Yeah.
But that's
But
no
it's there, available. You can have it.
yes,
You can skip it. Whatever.
and I could go to the fucking fanciest breakfast buffet in the world, and I still would find
Yeah.
most breakfast is not meant to be made or not meant to be enjoyed in a
Yeah.
bulk.
It's just that quantity of like cooking individual meals for that many people is
Oh
it's
no.
such an ordeal.
Now, granted, there was some like breakfast on demand that we went to in the later part of the week that was better.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because it was like pick from a menu, smaller stuff, but it was nicer and it's all free, so it doesn't really matter. You can just keep ordering more. But I just have an issue with breakfast buffets in a general. Um, 'Cause I love hard boiled eggs, but like they put a bunch of hard boiled eggs out in like a warmer, so they're still warm, but
Yeah.
then they sit there for a while and then they stay like bad.
I feel like Shady Maple near me, the
Hmm.
smorgasbord buffet.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they do breakfast right. Like all the shit that can be in a buffet is, like French toast. As long as you're getting people through, it
Yes.
never really sits all that long, and that's an okay food to be in a buffet, I feel.
Yes. Hash browns too. Hash browns can be
Yes,
fine.
all that stuff, and it's a huge selection. All that stuff, buffet line. But then they also have four like counters that you walk up to and they're each doing something. Like this one's making pancakes, this one's making eggs. You ask the guy, I want 2 eggs over easy, and he cooks them in front of you, gives them to you, and you're done. So
Yeah.
it's like half buffet, half made on demand. I think that's the breakfast way if you're going to do a
Yes.
buffet.
It is, and it's again, it's just breakfast food is always it's just such an
As soon as you
on-demand
put
food.
eggs in a tray, it's a problem.
Yes. So, whatever. Breakfast was still good. I don't eat breakfast
Sure.
951
I
weeks
don't
out of the
really.
year.
Yep, same.
So, it's an enjoyment to eat it for a week. Um, but back to what
The
okay,
people.
so people. So Matt and I were talking to people, we were just being friendly. The one show we sat by some people from Buffalo, and I'm like they're
I can't
oh, where
believe
are
you
you
can
from?
find them anywhere.
I'm just like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, Buffalo. I'm like, oh, I got many friends from Buffalo, and they're like, oh, go Bills. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I'm like, they're from here and here and here. And I listed off where like they're from. I'm like, oh yeah, south side of Buffalo. We're from the more north. I'm like, oh, that's cool, whatever. So like, Mel and I are talking with them, and we're like, oh, this is our first cruise. Like, oh, we done many. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then like we asked, they said, oh, we like this cruise line a little bit. We like this one, blah blah blah. There's a lot of people we heard that were talking not shit on Norwegian, but they were like, "Oh, we like these ones better." But here's the fucking
Sure.
thing, Bruno. Why the fuck were you on this cruise if you like all these other ones better?
Money. I'll tell you.
It's either money, but like some of them, I don't know. I when people bitch about something like, "Oh, I fucking,"
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I agree.
I when someone starts like
Like,
bitching about how,
if you're bitching, why are you here?
yeah, it's like what if you like those other ones, why? Why are you here? Is it the money? And you realize this is just a better value, like fine, I'll stick with this. Like that's fine. I don't, if there's better ones out there for more money, I won't be surprised and or upset because I
Yeah,
don't like. There's only so much money I'm willing to spend for like a desired level of happiness, like
yeah.
whatever. Um, but I I'm not married to Norwegian. I've said this to Madeline. I'm not married to Norwegian Cruise Line. We definitely want to do more in the future, and I'm not saying we have to do Norwegian, but it does a lot of things like drink package wise, specialty dining wise. They do what's called freestyle cruising, which is less like uh, non-freestyle cruising is more like you have to wear formal wear at dinner and like at times, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
more pre-scheduled out where you eat dinner at a certain time with, like you saying, shows at a certain time. Freestyle's like more relaxed. You can eat dinner whenever. It's like
I like the sound of that.
it's more fluid
Yeah,
than strict.
yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of reasons I like Norwegian compared to other ones, which other people say like, oh yeah, the freestyle's nice, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like what do I want. But I think Norwegian was a very fine one, even if it's just a first one. It's not too kid oriented. Like Madeline, I hate like screaming kids on vacation, which like
Yep. Okay.
um the one uh type in I maybe I can help type it into. It's like Royal Caribbean 2024 new ship. For this ship,
Icon
uh
of the Seas.
I can't dude, the pictures of this I've never want to go
This
on this ship.
looks ridiculous.
I'd never want to set foot on this ship because of how like family oriented it looks like and how
Oh
many
yeah,
screaming kids, but
it
this ship looks
absolutely looks.
crazy.
Yeah, like that is a whole ass water park on this ship.
Yeah, and there's like this whole middle bit and it's like crazy expensive. Like there's like 50 pools on there almost. I don't know, it's not 50 any, it's like maybe like 10.
That's still crazy though.
Like it's
$1,500 per person for the least expensive windowless inside cabin.
yes.
Holy shit.
Um so like Norwegian there were some families. You're never going to have like no fam other than like an adult only cruise. You're never going to have no families.
Yeah.
Um
But
but
if it's not family oriented, I have a feeling that a lot of them will choose to skip it in favor of something else.
yeah, so some people said, "Oh, I liked Royal Caribbean more. They had more going on." But then on the other light, they said there was a lot more families, and it was more like for all like that. And I'm like, I had no desire for any of that. Um, so you got to pick your poison with your one. I was very happy with Norwegian, almost everything. Um, Speaking of interior cabin views, I 1,000% could understand why people don't give a shit about being feeling like enclosed like that with no windows. The amount of people that just woke up, sat at the bars drinking all day till they could like barely make it back to the rooms and just would pass out.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So
sure, if you give me the option, I'll take the side. I don't think it's worth the money to do it, though.
I for Madeline Nights personally is like it is
And
a
that's
lot nicer
fine.
when you have yeah.
And it's like a me thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
There's if you want to go look at the ocean, go sit on a chair by the edge or something, you know.
Yep.
But that's just my philosophy of it, I guess.
Oh yeah. So yeah. Um Being on the ship crazy. Let me tell you, it's crazy. I would love to like work on the underside of a ship for like a month because of how logistically like
Oh my god, dude, the logistic challenges that you have to overcome on a ship like that, even just moving shit to where it needs to be throughout the day,
oh my god, it
has
is
to be
absolutely
insane.
it's so nutty. It like I just don't even notice. It is crazy. Like Saturday is boarding day. So you get all excited. Saturday comes around, you're gonna get on the ship. Starting at 11 a.m., you can get on the ship, and by 4 p.m. you have to be on the ship. You depart at 6. What you don't, it doesn't really hit you until you leave the ship. Was that ship pulled in at like 6 a.m. that morning? People
Empty.
didn't get off. No, that
Oh,
ship came in
okay.
full of the last cruise
Of
at 6
people,
a.m.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying empty of supplies.
Oh yeah.
Like they have to load all the food, all the shit in, get
Yeah.
all the people out, clean everything probably.
Yep. I was on the ship until well, so they dismiss you in groups based on like certain things, based on like shuttle, this, that, and the other thing. They
Location
don't.
too probably, yeah.
Yeah. The uh last people don't get off until like 9:30, and
Yeah.
that they have like an hour and a half to like whip around like the whole cruise to be feel brand new for the next
Yeah.
um
It's crazy.
crazy. Also, one of the hands down best do not disturb make up my room systems ever. I don't know why it's not more popular. I don't know why it isn't like widely accepted. So you like go to a hotel
Yeah.
and you normally have like a do not disturb sign so they won't come in and make up your room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say it's like a multi-day stay. Let's say you're staying a weekend, so like 2 nights. Um, Now let's say it's you want you just want new towels. It's been a day. Your towel's kind of like a little gross. You want a new towel and you want them to come make up your room. You can like take off your do not disturb sign and just hope they come, but you don't know if they will or not, and they don't necessarily know that you want it made up unless you like
Yeah.
request it.
Exactly.
On the ship, there was two little buttons. One was a do not disturb button that linked to a light on the top of the door. And then the other one was a please make up the room button that did a different light that was like make
Yeah.
up the room right now. So you could request your room to be made up.
It reminds me of like a doctor's office where they have
Yeah.
a button panel of like what stage of the process you're in, or like some of them have the flip out
hmm
color flags.
Yep.
It sounds great.
Also, it has you have to put your room key card in to get power, so you can't just leave the power on, just like a power saving measure.
Okay, sure.
So that you put that in, a light shows up, so they know someone's in there having power. So
That
like,
makes sense. Yeah.
so you like they know someone's in there, not relatively based on they have card. There's only so much you can do about that. You can have do not disturb set. You could have please make up my room, or you could just have nothing on, and then it's just like a 50-50 shot whether they try or not. But one of the like, it just makes so much sense. Like,
Yeah, it sounds very logical. I like it.
oh, so nice. And whatever bullshit someone will say is you don't feel the ship when you're on a big ship because it's big. You feel the ship. It's just a lie.
I was going to
I'm
ask
not
about
saying
that.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying you're rocking,
Yeah, but
but
you
you're
can,
not like.
I'm sure.
It's not like you feel nothing. And the lower you get, or no, the higher you get, and the more towards either end of the ship, you feel it more.
Do you get seasick? Do you know?
No, I was fine the whole time.
Do you get seasick on small boats? Do you know?
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Um,
See, I get seasick and I'm always curious like would it be an issue for me? I think I'd be okay, but I don't know.
I think you'd be a lot. I don't think you'd notice it as much. The whole thing, it's well, it could be. It depends. I guess I would say. It's like what about seasickness gets you off? Is it just like the big undulations that gets you off, or is it like
I have no idea cuz I know that if I'm on the ocean I get seasick. If I'm in a bay like on a small boat,
mhm.
you can make it as rough as you can imagine and I'm fine. Like
So
I've never gotten seasick inland. As soon as I went to sea, I got sick.
so there's like two different motions I would say were like noticeable. When the ship was like really sailing, like we were really underway getting somewhere, you and you were lower, you could definitely feel the vibration of the engines. Like everything was like
Yeah.
subtly vibrating. Um, the other thing was there was a very subtle sway. So if you put like a glass on the table, it's not like you'd see the water swishing back and forth,
No, but you see
but
it kind of
subtly,
going
and
back and forth very
your
little.
internal motion is a lot more subtle or sensitive to it, where I like could feel it like swaying back and forth. The one day it was a lot
Yeah.
worse because we had high winds, but it was never like bad.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
just, more than anything, I'm curious of how I would handle it
I
because I
I
just
was
don't know.
100% fine. The only time I wasn't a little bit fine was the one night we had a lot to drink, and it was just like normal like spins of drink spins.
Sure. So
Um,
what was the drink of choice?
a lot of wine.
Was it? Okay.
Um, the last night at dinner we had $170 worth of champagne because we drank
Ooh,
two $85 bottles
God damn.
of champagne. That was so bad for the bloating. That was like so many bubbles. A lot of wine. They had a lot of there's some mango meltdowns. That was good. They had um just tried a bunch of random shit.
Yeah.
Tried tried this drink called grass clippings because it had black salt in it. Um like
Okay.
tequila, black salt, club soda, cilantro. It was like there's another thing in there.
Sounds
Um,
like grass to me.
yeah. You would have liked it. There was a lot of like whiskeys and scotches
Yeah.
to try.
I
I
remember
don't
you showing me the list a long time ago of like what package got you kind of thing.
some some vodka Red Bulls. Um, Madeline had some like mudslide meltdowns, which is like an ice cream based alcohol drink.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sounds like you made use of it, that's for sure.
yeah, some people made a lot more use out of it. Like we had a good package, but we were bad with like I was bad with requesting the top tier alcohol liquor. I need to
Ah,
get better at like saying Belvedere vodka Red Bull, like the
yeah.
top tier shit, not the well shit. That was just like personal, not doing it as good. Uh, Alcohol was good. Um, but mostly did a lot. They had some good. They had a great selection of wine, so we're always just going on that. Except the
Sounds good.
acid. Eventually, you like it just came too much. Had a fucking Tarkov-esque water bottle cartons.
Nice.
It's actually made in America. Called Flow water bottle. Getting a picture. Um, if anything, they're gonna get more popular. I think that type of like cartridge is gonna be more popular in the coming years.
One of these things.
Yeah, Madeline hates them, but uh, I don't mind them. I think it's a fun method of drink delivery. We had like cartons of water.
Interesting. So, did you do any excursions on your destinations or just
Two.
two? Yeah.
We did snorkeling in St. Thomas around a coral reef. Um,
Nice.
then saw some sea turtles eating on grass. And after like the snorkeling section, we did. It was just like we went to like a what's called like Honeymoon Beach. It was a nice beach, but earlier in the morning we went to Megan's Bay, which is like one of the top 10 ranked beaches in the world.
Ooh,
May Bay rank Megan's Bay ranking top 10 beach destination. Tell me which one it is. Voted one of the.
yeah, that looks like a pretty nice beach. To be
Oh, that
honest
was
with
it
you,
was
you know, it's
beautiful.
like it's got the trees and the nice
What the
white,
fuck? People don't know how to
soft-looking
take pictures.
sands. No, they don't. These are terrible pictures. But you know, just like this gives me the idea of how nice of a beach it was. Not
Yeah.
hard surf, but you know, because it's a
No,
bay.
there's like no waves.
Yeah.
Absolutely like no waves.
No, yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah. So stupidly like just nice beach. Um then we did the coral reef, then the private beach thing. Um and then we were supposed to go to the Dominican Republic, but the cruise before us went there and I don't know why, but they decided to switch it up. So we went to the Bahamas,
Okay.
Nassau, where the famous like Atlantis resort is. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Um and we did a excursion to called Blue Lagoon, but it's a lagoon which lagoon. I don't technically know how to I don't know how to I don't know what technically a lagoon is, to be honest with you.
Did you see the dolphins?
Yes, I didn't do the show, but like I did see the dolphins from the
It
other
looks like
side.
they're big on the dolphins.
So if anything, I'd say like a lagoon is like a little straight, like a little. It's like where the ocean like cuts in part this
I feel
island,
like
and
it's
you
a
have like,
man-made waterway.
is it man-made?
Let's find
I
out.
don't know.
A stretch of salt water separated from the sea by a low sandbank. Okay, so maybe not man-made, but it's separated in some way.
Yeah, so I think you Google Blue Lagoon. If you just do like the Google pictures, maybe like more like a more zoomed out. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah.
so you have that inlet where the boats come in and drop you off, and then that whole left side to that bridge out is just like a swimming area.
Yeah.
And it's like it's actually pretty cool. Like there's like a current of water that flows through there, and it's like shallow, but there's like sea creatures that come in. Um, and it's just it was different. I've never been in like an
Yeah.
environment like the water's super clear and like it was fun. Different type of swimming environment. You had dolphin shows and shit over there.
Yeah. Neat. It's cool.
Um, Interesting area. Uh, but those were the two excursions. We lost a day. We lost a port. The first full day at sea was supposed to be a stop at a beach, a little private island. But
Yeah.
because Norwegian Cruise Line owns the island, they can't bully a government into building a port for them, so they're not going to shell out money for the port. So they do the cheaper method, which is tenoring, tenoring,
Yeah.
something with a T.
Yeah.
Where you take people on a boat and you ship them between the two areas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was too windy to do boats. It was like 30 to 40 knot winds. Like it was like
That's
I don't know.
that's wind.
It was windy. So they said, sorry, it's not safe to do. I'm like, oh, that's shitty. So they did a full another day at sea, which wouldn't have been as bad had Madeline and I known how to maximize our day on a cruise ship. But it was like the first day, so we were still on the learning
Sure, you're still
process.
figuring it all out.
Yeah. Um. So it could have been not that bad of a thing had we known more about how to
Yeah.
maximize a day
You
on a
didn't know
cruise.
the tips and tricks, kind of, you know.
Yep. Uh. Oh my God. I think I think you'd love it for no reason, but the just the ballsiness you have to have to like captain one of these ships.
Oh, dude,
Um,
it's insane.
like the fucking they'll just whip up to a port, do like a 180 and then back that fucker up as if it's like
Yep.
a goddamn like sedan.
Yep.
Like I'm just watching like this ship come like this big ass Disney ship. We already docked, so like this we docked. This Disney ship was coming in as well. They fucking whipped it, and the dude just fucking was like, "Oh yeah, back her up, back her up." Um,
Yeah, I'm sure
Crazy.
they're good at it, you know.
Oh my God, yeah. When we were in the Virgin Islands, you have to have a pilot on the ship with you to come in and out of the harbor. This like speedboat just comes ripping next to our ship, and this dude just like hops off onto our ship,
Yep.
off of like the moving boat. Like same thing for getting off. The ship just like whips up.
Just
The dude just hops right off and
just
like
hop off.
guns it the
Yep.
other way. Um, but crazy. Like they look like it's a horrible analogy, but like you're like oh drives like a boat. These fuckers just like whip them because they have like side
Yeah.
jets everywhere.
Well, they have like thrusters to to change where the bow is. And I'm sure there's a lot of tech going on and
Oh, I
everything.
know. I
But
was just like,
yeah, absolutely
like gotta respect,
insane.
gotta respect the grind. Um,
Yeah, and I'm
Other than
sure they're
that,
like handing it off too, because you can't. There's got to be someone in charge of everything, and you're there for 7 days, so I'm sure there's like three of them.
yeah. Well, no, these are immigrant workers. They work all the time, nonstop.
Okay.
I, I'll make the statement here. I've never seen old people so unracist toward immigrants when they're like serving them hand and like toe. Like
Yeah.
the amount the amount of privilege you could see on like an old person as this like Filipino waiter was bringing them their next drink, and they're like, "Oh, I love it. Oh yeah." Oh my God. It's just like you can just tell they're like love. They're like, oh, this is how it should be, and it's just like they're oh, that's a statement I'll make about that. Um, Also the phrase of the week was happy happy washy washy. I think I said it last night.
You did.
but like it was like 5 foot like something like men and women like dressed up in like formal attire, like the men in like full like suits and like the women
Yeah,
like a business like pencil skirt like equivalent like style
yeah.
dressing, just squirt bottles with hand sanitizer and going happy happy washy washy put smile on face and like oh they're always doing it. There's definitely a hierarchy of like cruise ship worker like jobs, and some of them I think really enjoy their job because it gets them like it must be either easy or they must get like bank and tips. And there's some of them that you can tell aren't as happy because they probably don't get like
Yeah,
access to the easy money. But the ones that are ranking in the tips, I know it's like fake happiness, but like they're really selling it. Like
yeah.
they're really
They're
pushing that they
definitely
like.
pushing the happy and yeah.
And it's not even like a fake. Like you really start to think it, and then you're like, it probably is like the best job they could probably get. Like they're
Yeah, I mean
fed.
it compared to I'm gonna say it compared to home, it's probably like a really good job for them.
I know. I'm like you're like fed. So many of them are like braces because I think they have like insurance and like dental insurance. Like
Yeah,
it's like the. Unfortunately, I think their quality of life working like so many hours and stuff is so way better on the ship, and they rank in so much money compared to what anything else they could do.
yeah,
Um, I think I'm not. I didn't quite hear the conversation, but like a couple tables over at dinner, the one girl was asked like, "Oh, how long are you on the ship?" And she's like, I think she said she's like, "Oh, it's like a 2 month contract, and I'll do a couple of those a year, and I rank in like more than my whole entire family. Like
yeah,
they do a couple 2 month contracts a year, and they rank in way more money than their like whole entire family combined. But then it's like work 2 months straight, like no days off.
oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely different, and it's a commitment for sure. You know,
Yeah.
it's you're gone for 2 months out of a year
Oh
straight.
yeah,
But I would hope that they get compensated enough for that. You know?
I'm pretty sure they did. At least like the one bartender who created like a little cult following around him because he was like he learned how to do tricks and stuff. So he's like doing a bunch of shit, and he had like a bar on the side that was pretty private, but he always had like 10 to 20 like people that he like became a that loved him. I think
Yeah,
they were just he over an entire year worth of doing cruises probably triples his income in just tips that he's making just from bartending because I think he's that good and that
yeah.
entertaining.
It was get a drink and have a show at the same time instead of
Yeah.
walk up to a bar and get a drink.
Wait. How do I?
What's going on?
Uh, I have a bunch of pictures. I have pictures up in case I need to reference something.
Ah,
But
I see.
um, uh, the what else? The Broadway shows are really good. I was I enjoy Broadway shows, and they were very much enjoyable. They
Good. I mean, it's good
uh,
to be able to have things like that on the ship that you can say, yeah, I enjoy this. I'm going to go to that.
mhm. Probably
You
think of
mentioned
more.
you mentioned
What?
something the other day about you had to wait until you were like 10 miles offshore to get drinks or else you had to pay tax or something.
Yeah, so the United States sucks. Um,
Yeah.
so I had a drink package, which I thought worked similarly to the resort I went last year, but that is a false uh assumption. So when I was at a resort last year, I paid for an all-inclusive fee, and drinks were free. You ask for it, they hand it to you, you leave. Like nothing like really proving
Yeah.
that other than like you having your ID band that you're supposed to be on the resort that you're um you get free stuff.
Sure.
Now the resort had a very limited selection of like the types of alcohol you could have, but it was like grab and go. There was nothing more to it.
Yeah.
So the cruise works where it had like name brand alcohol, but with that you have more robust drink packages and how it works. So, you have different access to different things. Certain packages you have minimum or maximums about what's credited, so $15 or less is free. 50, you have to cover the difference if it's $16. Stuff like that. But you have name brand alcohol and you have more selections. Like you have name brand beer, you have name brand liquors.
Yeah.
You know, you want a shot of Jameson, you have a shot of Jameson. You know, uh, but when you order a drink on the ship, they need to swipe your card, even if it's like just a rum and coke that's like $6, $7, and they know your like drink packages will cover it. They swipe it into transaction. You're
Mm-hmm.
charged $6, but your drink packages credits it down to zero. Whatever, you're clear. But it is a transaction. When you're in U.S. waters, you follow U.S. law. So that transaction has tax. So your $6 drinks is taxed, and your drink package covers the cost of the drink, but it doesn't cover the tax. So
I
you now
see.
then charge to your room whatever, like 50 cents for the tax of that drink.
Yeah.
Um, so the first day, we were there for a couple hours before we left, and we were looking at our charges to make sure we were doing stuff right or things were applied right on our room. We see a bunch of like $1 charges, and we're like, what the hell is this? This is annoying. We can't. It'll be super expensive for the week if every drink we have is like $1. So we go and ask, and they're like, "Oh, taxes. We were in U.S. waters, and that's a U.S. port, so uh,
I
tax." And
see.
then
Yeah.
it's not just like leaving port. U.S. territory is like 10 miles offshore or
Sure.
whatever,
Yeah.
and the United
Until
States
you're
expects money.
in intercontinental waters or whatever it's called.
International, yeah.
Yeah. Continent. What the hell am I
Um,
saying? But yeah.
but that's how that works. And then you know everything's in the clear when you hear the casino slots spin up because you can't gamble. It doesn't have a casino. It doesn't have a gamble like a license for
Yeah.
gambling. Until you're in international waters, there's no one to regulate it, so you can gamble. So like once you hear those slots rolling, taxes be
That's when
be
you're
going.
good.
Yeah. Sometimes they're good at warning you. Sometimes they're not. Like Matt and I got a one round of drink. We had left. It was like 30 minutes, so I thought we were in the clear, but apparently we weren't at that time. Um, and then we went to get another drink, and they're like, "Oh, there's tax still," and they're like, "Oh shit," but whatever. It's not that much in the end of the day. The only thing I would say is if you're doing a cruise, maybe avoid stops in as many territories of the United States as possible. Don't have to, but
If you're worried about it, yeah, I see what you mean.
or if you just go somewhere else and don't pay tax.
Yeah.
Um, but that's how that works, which was interesting, but made sense that the United States just, you know,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's just one of those things that when you know as soon as you're out of it, you don't have to worry about it.
oh yeah.
It's one of them, yeah, what's going on kind of things.
Um, that was that. The specialty dining we did steakhouse, which I got a seafood platter, which was good. Uh, the hibachi place, which was fun. Um, met a guy who like grew up in Harrisburg, like right next to us.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I just say Hershey now. Palmyra is right next to Hershey, but I'm like, if I say Hershey, Pennsylvania, most people will just like,
Yeah. That's like me. If somebody that has no clue, I say Reading.
yeah." So they'll be like, "Oh, I grew up in Harrisburg." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I pull out the whole like, "Well, I'm
Now
being a
you
little
can
bit."
say some real words.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, I was I was more compensating for you not knowing where Pennsylvania was." So then I'm like, "Oh, I live in Palmyra." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I grew up in this part of Harrisburg." I'm like, "Oh, I'm familiar. We live in Middletown right now." He's like, "Oh, yeah, like right around this area." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and blah
Yep.
blah. But
Yeah,
hibachi,
I do the same thing. I
yeah,
say I'm near Reading, and if they go, "Oh, Reading, yeah," then I'll go, "Oh, well, I'm like out in the middle of nowhere, Moton."
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Um, uh, but yeah. So hibachi was good. Um, we did an Italian place that was also good. Um, had some
Was there
pesto.
anything bad?
Uh, I think
Like,
the
if you
one
would
night.
say, like, I want this changed, what would it be?
What would I wanted changed? I wish we would have had that extra day of stop, 'cause it is fun to get off the ship to do stuff. Um, I wish there was like a couple activities, like not activities, like events, like this newlywed game show. Newlywed, not so newlywed game show. It's
Okay.
like the generic, like get couples down, get the oldest married couple and get the newest married couple and two couples in between. Have the one gender answer questions, have the other ones
Mm-hmm.
guess what the answer was, back and forth. That was hilarious. That was super fun. Just the answer, like the couple married for 65 years was hilarious in their answers. The new couple were just being roasted because they obviously haven't been together
Yeah.
that long, and they just like look like they don't love each other as much because they haven't been together longer than like most people have been alive.
Yeah.
Um, like those activities, I wish there were more of, or like fun ones like that, because they were like an enjoyable time to sit down and watch. And that's just me wanting like constant full entertainment, which is just not realistic at all.
Yeah.
Um, maybe more pools. That specific ship
Okay.
we were on didn't have as many like pools for people to chill out on the ship, but you know, whatever, kinda.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Um, where was that? I have a picture of Madeline and I in front of the. How do I? What? Download, upload. Like that's a picture in front of me and Madeline on our ship.
Very nice. The ship's all painted up too. Look at that.
Yep. Um, I think the one meal Madeline like there was like daily specials, and the one time she just got a steak that was just like a constant like offering, not like a daily
Yeah.
special. And it was a little bit tougher, but I was like, the specialty dining when we got steak, it was like super nice and super good and tender. But like
Yeah.
I told her, I'm like probably should have got like a daily special instead of like a constant offering.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Is that one of your t-shirt subscription t-shirts?
yep, it's like all I. It's like 90% of the shirts
I
I ever
know.
wear.
I hear about them. I feel like I can spot them out.
Yep, they're pretty. They're a solid color with like a design on the front. That's
Yeah.
just what it is. Um. Oh, can we? Do you saw the picture? Oh no, you don't.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's right
we
here.
can use the picture as a transition.
Yeah.
You see that hat?
I do see that hat. It
Do
says
you see that
Kennedy
hat?
Space Center.
Oh, one of the you should even if it's not on your bucket list, Bruno, throw it on your bucket list.
Yeah.
One of the coolest. It's a museum. It's an activity center, and it's a live space center all in one. Like it's not just like oh go. It's not like a museum. Go see some old shit and like learn. It's not just like an activity center where it's like oh meant for kids to touch something and be like rocket.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like oh someone built it in a field somewhere because that's where they decided to build it. It is like you pull up and you're like you're allowed here, but you can't go here because that's an active fucking
Yeah.
like United States government
They're
space
doing some
agency
shit back there. Don't bother them.
over here. Like can let's go Google Maps. I'm pulling it up. Zoom out, enhance where I want to enhance. Port Canaveral. Where's Port Canaveral?
So you left from Florida. So you were down
Yes.
that way before you
Technically,
left.
technically the port is Port Canaveral, Orlando, but Orlando is not on the coast, but
Yeah.
Orlando just claims the coast is theirs.
Yep.
So, there's some stuff with some stuff. Kennedy Space Center. Okay, here's the coordinates on the maps for you. If you go into layered view, just because it's easier to show, I think I can figure out. Um, okay, I'm lost.
What did
Okay,
you want me
so
to do?
go down a little bit, south. Keep going south. I did it too north. Keep going left. So like, scroll in there. So that's like the one complex of the Kennedy Space Center. That's like where you come in and
Okay.
park and there's stuff.
Yeah.
If you like zoom out and go a little bit more south, like Blue Origin facility, that's like the headquarters of Blue Origin.
Yeah.
Like you're
It looks
right
like it.
there. That's where not Bill, Jeffy Boy is like
Yeah.
figuring out his rocket ship, like right across the street.
And I'm sure this is a huge building too.
Oh, that one is super. Well, that might be an outdated
Maybe
picture
not
because
that one.
there's like a super tall building that I think is maybe just not there. I don't know these pictures. Oh, it says
Yeah.
2022 on the satellite view, but I don't know about the
It
dropped
might have been.
location.
It might be this one too. Big
Yeah,
box. Either way.
yeah. Um, it's like that's the one center, right? They have the first thing we went into was new. It's called like the Gateway. That's where I had the Snapchat and I sent the video of the Falcon 9.
Yeah.
Uh, it's on the left side, Gateway, the deep space launch
Mm-hmm.
complex. That's I would almost tell you that was sponsored by like SpaceX, Boeing, uh a bunch of shit. It's like it's where everyone's showing off their like capsules and suits,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like to show you that other companies are getting into space and like kind of selling
Yeah.
themselves as a brand.
I mean, it's just this room looks very cool to be in.
Okay, I apparently everyone else is like not with me on this, but I thought rockets were a lot bigger. Like that's a Falcon
Yeah.
9 just hanging in that room,
I feel
and
like I would have thought the same thing.
I thought it was fake at first. I thought it was like a little replica. That was a real rocket that like went up into space.
Yeah.
And I'm like standing there, I'm like, I just thought it was bigger. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Um there's some other like shops and cool stuff over here. The other cool one is the Space Shuttle Atlantis in the top right of your screen currently. That's whatever one. Oh damn, not that one. God, Verna, why that one?
Why that one? Okay. Sorry. Hold on. I'll pick a different dot. Let's go back here.
Oh damn. Oh yeah, that one. Um
Uh, okay. That's pretty neat though.
So, iconic from our childhood, that's like the iconic space shuttle.
Oh,
That
absolutely. Yeah.
you might pick a different one out, but if I'd say pick out like your iconic spaceship that you
No,
first
it's
think of when you
a
think
1000% this exactly.
this, and I think this was like the first one. There's a multiple of them, but I think this was like the first one, the Atlantis, that did the most missions and stuff. Um, you never knew about it, but you see how like the bay doors are open?
Yeah.
As soon as they hit space, that metal like reflective thing, that's the radiators. Those things were always open when they were in space because they always need to be open to cool the thing.
Huh.
I
Interesting.
It's never like portrayed that in like TV and movies, but that's whenever they were in space, that was always open.
Interesting.
Yep. Um, but we were standing right there. Like, I mean, it's big. Don't get me wrong, it's big, but you're standing right there and you're like, that's just not that big.
Yeah, it's. I would have thought it would have been bigger. I think I'm
I
with you.
know it, but apparently I'm wrong. So that was, that's super cool, seeing the iconic thing. So if you scroll out and go more north where I originally showed you,
A big ass runway. Yeah.
Yes. So one, the VAB. I said it to you yesterday, or one of the days. Just I cannot tell
That
you
thing
how
is huge.
right next to that, even when you're standing right next to the building, it is incomprehensible how big that building is. I could probably only understand if I was standing in the exact center of it. Like, it is just an unfathomable
Jesus
scale.
Christ. Holy shit, that place is big.
Like, it is
That's a
just
person.
that's a large vehicle that looks like an absolutely
Oh, yeah.
miniature forklift. Like, the scale of this thing is just pure unimaginable. One of the most one of the biggest buildings by volume ever made and
I mean,
currently
look at them
standing.
fucking doors. Those doors
45
go up
minutes to open.
forever.
Imagine hitting the garage door open and be like, I'll be back in like 45 minutes. Whoever
God
got
damn.
whoever got that picture job for Google Pictures, bravo to them. That must have been the coolest fucking assignment.
Yeah.
Um, so on
I
the
mean,
outside of the building,
I think
yeah.
this is somebody walking too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, just like walking right through it.
crazy.
Yeah. So the
Big blurred out section.
yeah, well yeah. Um, the outside of the building, that's the Endeavor. Um, the where the United States flag is, the
The one you can see from space.
yeah, the blue section is the football field. The stars are massive, and the red and white stripes can fit a full-size bus down them.
God damn.
Massive. Super cool. Definitely worth um the 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 view. We saw a crawler on the one side of the building where they like put the um spaceships on and drive them out.
Yeah.
Want to know something? Want to know a fact about the crawler?
What's that?
One of the first electric vehicles, fully electric vehicles,
Really?
back from like the 60s. All the motors are electric, and all the diesel engines on there are just generators to power the motors.
Interesting. That's. I did not know that.
Probably, I you know there you know electric. Oh, it's a hybrid. You
Sure.
get- but yeah, the diesel engines just power the motors apparently. Um, but a little bit more north, there's one more like center. Um,
This one?
yes. So if you put a pin in there somewhere,
Like a. To look?
yeah.
Or.
So right there is one of the last three remaining Saturn V's
Yeah.
in the world, and the Saturn V was what put man on the moon. And let me tell you, Bruno, that feels like a rocket.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
walk
it
in
looks
that room, Bruno.
massive.
You walk into a room, you can it the room like oozes the stubbornness of man to leave this planet no matter what boundaries need broken. And like it's just a monument of the stubbornness of people to like venture forth. Like you
Yeah.
just feel how one of the most it's the largest uh I don't know, I forget how they word it, but it's like the largest mechanical functional like object ever made.
It definitely. It's huge. It's
It
just.
that feels like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Like you get a used carsman to slap that boy. Like, this will get you to space. Um. Also, I will say I wish I was a patch collector because like the amount of like space themed patches are like
Oh
they're so
god, there's
neat
so many.
and they're so neat.
Yeah,
Space patches are
they're good
cool.
ones.
Um, but yeah, that was seeing that rocket was probably the coolest part of the whole thing. But that's just because it's just like a monument to stubbornness.
So you also got to see a SpaceX launch too, right?
I did. I have a decent video that I don't think I sent before. I sent you a picture that was crappy, but there's a video somewhere I can. The video is not awesome either,
Yeah, I mean, it's all
but
good.
I'm downloading it. I am loading it. Uh,
Discord might be pissed at you.
why are you downloading? Uh, Scanning
Three
for
mile
viruses.
runway. Holy shit.
Yeah, 'cause that's based on it don't stop.
No.
Downloading? Oh. Give it a second. Yeah, no. How can I get this to you in an effective manner?
Do you use Google Photos at all?
I'm throwing it at Teams. I have permission to put stuff in Speak, don't I?
Yeah.
F server. Connected.
Just
I don't know.
throw it into like. Just tell me where you put it.
I'm putting it in default.
Okay.
Oh, not that one. That was from the last video I uploaded to. Can't put that one on the podcast. Uh, 78, 83, 87, 91, 96. Called PLX underscore 2022. It's an MP4
Gotta find the right channel. Hold on.
default.
They're numbered.
Oh,
Like,
are they?
it's just fucking stupid.
What? Is it not just channel
Is it?
one?
Is it this one? Oh yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
what type of fucking what type of player is that?
Uh, this is MPV.
I guess you are listening to the sound.
I am. Yeah. It's a lot of wind.
Yeah. Well, cause it took forever for the sound to get to us. I was like, is this thing
Oh yeah.
quiet? Um,
It's impressive. Like that's a bright ass light in the sky of just pure thrust.
that's 1:30 in the morning. So that's like pretty night. Like
Yeah.
and like whenever it hits certain layers or like like when it just dims like that for no reason and it just like lights up again, it's just nutty.
Yeah. It's crazy looking.
I wish those
That
trees weren't there for perfect, but that's just asking.
that's an experience though. Holy shit.
Um, just the rumbling that took forever to get to us, but being 13 miles
Mhm.
away, it just takes a while.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the speed
oh
of sound's like 600 some miles an hour.
yeah, and it was cool because I had I'm just sitting there with the SpaceX thing live, and they're like, and oh my god, coolest thing ever. If you're gonna watch one, try to get a live stream of them, and like have it up because they're like, ignition in 3, 2, 1, and you just like your sky in your background just lights
Yeah.
up, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And they're like lift off and you're like holy fuck. If I if i if i never get to see another one again, I'm happy I got to see one, and it's definitely like a thing. Hopefully in the future they become so much easier to watch, like they become like, every day there's one.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is
Yeah.
that we do space more in the future. But Um,
I'm
100%
happy
worth.
that
Not.
the times worked out because, like, at first it sounded like you were gonna miss it because it was the
Oh
day
yeah.
that you were traveling, and then it got delayed so you could see it, and then it got delayed
Yes.
again into later.
Yes. Definitely
So that's
just.
cool.
Not to brag. I just like it is
No,
one of the.
it's interesting. It's cool.
Um. Oh, and I gotta talk about these guys before we end. Back to the cruise. So what ended up being like my favorite thing was a reoccurring event, like every other night on the ship. So there's a company called Howl at the Moon that you have different locations across the United States. But one of their like they do a bunch of company events of entertainment and this and that. But one of the things they have is called dueling pianos. So dueling pianos isn't like two guys going at each other with pianos, which I thought it was. So this was
Would you expect people picking up pianos and hitting each other with them?
exactly. Um, so it was on our cruise. There was these three guys, or three people. One was a female. There was this dude in his like 70s, 60s, 70s. I forget. I don't know any of their names. Um, dude in his 60s and 70s. The guy in the cowboy hat was a like massive 6'5" Swedish dude, like
Okay, he
strong
looks
Swedish accent.
large.
Yes.
Okay,
And then this chick to the right, and then like maybe like slightly older than us, like maybe 30s.
sure.
Um, but the dueling pianos was all of them could play the piano. Like two of them could play guitar. She could play the flute. They could all like play the drums. Um, they would just take song requests and they would just play them back to back to back to back to back for like 4 hours. And when they wanted a break, only one of them would break. The other two would keep going,
It's
and so
impressive.
it just stayed constant. But it was like a bunch of fun requests. They were pretty funny people. The Swedish dude was like, he's like, "Oh, I know every ABBA song. Any ABBA song you want, I play." Um,
It reminds me. I found a Twitch streamer once that I saw a VOD on YouTube, and she could play the piano, and she was really good at it. And Twitch was just rattling off names of things in chat, and there was like probably a few thousand people watching, so chat was moving pretty good.
mhm.
And like every 15 seconds, she would change the song fluidly from one song to the other as people were saying them in chat.
Oh yeah,
It was a neat thing, and that's what this reminds me of.
yeah. It was. It's such a like. It was such a good con. It's a simple concept, but a good concept. You get a three group of three fun people up there that interact with each other. That girl could play a flute. Let me tell you what, she
Yeah.
whipped out. I wish I had a couple videos of it. I Here's my thing. I say I wish I would have taken more videos and stuff, but a lot of times I would never look back on them, and
Yeah.
I just feel like
I'm
dumb.
the same way. Yep.
Some people like most things I wanted to show you with Kennedy Space. I didn't need to like take pictures. I can have you just Google them, and like I can put you right there.
Yeah.
And I feel really dumb having like standing on my phone taking pictures and videos of everything,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because I feel like I'm not enjoying it. I feel like I'm like trying to. I don't know. It's really that's my last topic. Uh, we're gonna hold the thought of taking videos of shit because we're gonna hold that. Oh my god, fucking fuming. Um, but it's a real fun concept. It was a really fun group of people. It was so it was so it wasn't intimate, but it was like not feeling like a whole cruise was there. It was like a smaller room of going on. You
Sure.
could just sit
It's
down
one
there,
of
enjoy.
the many
Yeah,
things that are going on, you know.
awesome. So really worth, cool place. One of my favorite parts of the cruise, probably. Um, it's the last topic. I swear. Fucking the whole goddamn trip from beginning to end. The amount of people in the topics of like needing to take pictures of video stuff. So starting at the Space Center, you're watching a presentation. Like there's immersion shit. Like we're sitting in a room in where that big Saturn rocket was, and
Yeah.
they were talking through the launch of Apollo 11, where like they were taking people out to space. And when it came time to like launch the thing, they were shaking the building. And you were like sitting
Yeah.
there with like the building shaking and watching the video
It's
going
like
off, trying to
a
be immersed.
4D experience,
Yes.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So these fuckers are like taking videos and pictures during this goddamn like video presentation, like with their phone. But these people can't fucking understand. These goddamn boomers and old people don't understand Flash. It is the most shittiest thing to have to like experience an old person like in a dark theater watching something, taking flashes and like having their like LED light come on their thing on their video, and they're like, oh. It happened all throughout the Kennedy Space Center and the cruise. We're like at this Broadway show, and these people are just like whipping out their like phones, videos, like always with the goddamn. Let me recreate it so you can like
Get the full effect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or
These
like
dark
somebody
guys are.
whips out an iPad and is just holding an iPad.
Oh yes. Like, oh my god, it's so asinine. Why can't? Why do old people not get it?
Boomers, Nick. Boomers.
They just don't understand. And it makes me want to take pictures of shit less because I don't want to.
Yep. I don't want to be that person. I don't
I don't.
like I'll snap a picture quick, but it's like one picture. My flash is never on unless I actually need it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm good about pictures. Like, if I want something, I'll take it. It takes me 10 seconds and I'm moving on.
Yeah. I hate it all. Hate it all. It. I. Again. Outside of my job. Damn, your computer's not on. Oh, shame.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it
No,
back
no,
on?
stop. No, that's too much. That's too much. That's wow, wow, that sucks.
It's a gateway.
That's how you start helping. Don't offer help. You know. Then like, oh, you're my IT guy. It's like, no, I'm not. Don't. It's like I never ask friends. I think I've said this to you before. Like when I move, I'll help immediate family, and then anyone else away from immediate family, I will pay to help me move. I'll compensate at a fair amount that the other person that's not free, because if I'm asked to help move and they're like, "Oh, do you mind helping me out this weekend?" I'll be like, "No, I will not help you out. I am, I'm not offering free moving. If I want, like, if Ren and I was like, I need help 2 weekends now moving, I would say for $150, you want to help me move, and you'd be like, yes or no. But I wouldn't say, hey, can you help me move for free? Now, when you need to ever move in your life, I'd be like, no, fuck you. Like no, $150, yeah, I'll help you move for free. No, I'm sorry. It's my That's one of my moral like I don't know. It's not a moral. Is it ethic? Is that like an internal
Probably.
code?
That's like ethical, I would say. Yeah.
It's like it's one of my like pillars of my personality is I won't ask you to move for free, but don't expect me to come help you. Like it's a two-way
Sure.
street.
Yeah.
And I might be a dick about it, but I'm not going to reciprocate. Like don't. So that's a fundamental building block of Nick. I won't help you move, Bruno, for free. I'm sorry. But I have to
Dude,
stick with my
if I have
principles.
to move, it's going to be a monumental task.
Exactly. I'm sorry, it's just a pillar of my foundation. But if I need you to move, you're gonna get paid. So whatever. So that's another fact about Nick. Now know. I know I've talked over you this whole time, but
No, you're good.
easiest podcast probably for you. You've just sat back. You've probably been just
I,
browsing
I
Reddit the
was
whole time.
I was not. I was trying to be focused and listen to you, and you had good stuff to talk about, so I didn't need to do shit.
Well, we'll end here at 3:31 because I know what episode number it is.
3:31?
2:31. It's been 100 years. Podcast time. But whatever. Because that's all we have for this week's episode. Thursdays are the best days podcast. Thanks for listening and goodbye.
See you later.